You only get one shot. Are they going to click on that and look more at the listing, or are they going to move on?
Real Estate Radio Boston with loan officer Rick Shearer of Guaranteed Rate.
If you are dealing with someone that doesn't understand those micro markets, you're going to be steered completely in the wrong direction.
And legal professional Ali Alavi of Alavi Braza PC.
It's a transaction for us, but it's someone's home.
The biggest anxiety I felt, am I going to get the mortgage?
It all breaks down to communication.
Real Estate Radio Boston gives you the information you need to succeed in today's housing market.
Just agree on something?
Yeah, we actually did. Isn't that amazing?
I love that.
You're giving me this blank stare.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this. But
you left his lawyer up.
He's handsome too.
Rick Shearer, NMLS ID 454910. This is Real Estate Radio Boston.
By the way, let's back up. We had Zillow's CFO on the show when their book came out. And one of the questions I think you asked Ali, straight up, right to the point, is Zillow trying to take out the real estate agent? And he said an emphatic no. They're relevant. They're needed in this market.
Exactly, because essentially what they were saying is that we're a technology company that's trying to add additional tools to facilitate the real estate process and to facilitate the job of a real estate agent.
Yeah, so let's talk about this for a second. When consumer goes to Zillow, on the right-hand side, you're going to see real estate agents and the stars and how they're ranked and things like that. And if you want more information on the property, you can go up and then click on them and they'll call you and all that kind of stuff. Well, how that happens is real estate agents pay a crazy amount of money, tons of money, to be that person, right? So they're funding Zillow to drive the consumer to them to get more information on that property or other properties and really, hope to create a relationship with you and close a deal with you.
Exactly. And essentially, what is the asset? What is the asset that is being sold? It's the listings. So the listings are driving the traffic to the site. They then click on the contact information for the listing agent or another agent to be able to check out that particular listing.
Yeah.
So the assets are the listings themselves.
Yeah, and I would argue the eyeballs, right? The consumer's eyeballs. You're at Zillow, right? Your eyeballs are there. You're going there. They're paying for it. All that kind of stuff. So okay, we bought into it. That's fine. Okay. So until today, right? We found out that they are doing 2 pilot programs. One in Las Vegas and one in Orlando, Florida. And here's where the concept is. They are allowing a person who is looking to sell their home to don't have to engage a real estate agent, but you can actually go to a platform that Zillow has, and guess what? You can list your home for sale.
Yeah, it's called instant offers.
Instant offers.
Instant offers. And essentially, this particular feature allows a potential seller to upload, like you said, videos, photography, various features of the home that's being sold. A very nice description of that's going to get crafted by the seller himself or herself or themselves. And at that point, you're basically saying, hey, I want instant offers. And once you've uploaded that, they've pre-qualified what they call investors, buyers, that have already been pre-approved, pre-qualified, and they can then submit offers on the home that you've uploaded on their site.
Yeah. Guess what? Did we hear that you going to use a real estate agent at any part in this transaction in order to facilitate it?
There is a footnote that essentially says that once you've uploaded the information onto the site and you have now received offers on the listing that you've created, that they offer the option of putting you in touch with a real estate agent to take you through the process.
Yeah, and so what I'm calling this is something to pacify the people who are paying you all the money for marketing, because you've got buyer and seller who have come to terms, right? What do you need? Why do you need a real estate agent? Why are you going to pay them more money?
Exactly. Now,
so someone got in trouble, maybe, took some sick time off, just you couldn't make that payment. Right. Not that they foreclosed on it, but about 2% maybe had a late.
That's right. Yeah. And one of the things that's unique to mass housing is something we called MI Plus, and you talked about this in the lead-in. So in 2004, Mass Housing created a program wherein we will provide mortgage payment protection. So if you lose your job and you become certified unemployed, we'll pay up to $2,000 a month, up to 6 months of unemployment, where we'll pay your mortgage for you. We started that in 2004. So we feel like it's been pretty well stress tested in the economy that came subsequently.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and so let me just give you a sense. Of those, we've had about 1,000 claims. 80% of those people are still living in their home.
Wow. Now, you're talking about really low delinquency rates. What do you attribute that to? Do you attribute it to the guidelines? Do you attribute it to the fact that first-time home buyers have to go through a course? What is it attributed to?
Yeah, I think it's all of that. I think it's finding good partners. It's very much home buyer counseling. So we have a 100% requirement for home buyer counseling. We've recently made that available online. So there's an online version, but there is an in-person interaction required.
And by the way, the clients love it. I mean, it's so much great information for someone.
What is that exactly?
So it's basically, and it's roughly 7 or 8 hours. It can be split up a full day or over a couple of different days, and it really takes people through all the things they need to know about what it is to be a home buyer in terms of budgeting, thinking about what it means over the long term, and really putting them in a position, which I think is really important in this market, to be a really good buyer. So in my mind, they leave that course understanding what they need to do to be a good buyer, which, given the relatively small amount of inventory, we think is really important.
Now, we're talking about income limitations that you were talking about. There is credit score limitations. Is that correct?
Yeah, now our average credit score is about 731. We'll go as low as 660 on a credit score. So from our perspective, we have, I think Mass Housing's bread and butter is relatively high loan-to-value lending with relatively high credit score. And what we've seen is if you do that and if you supplement that with strong underwriting, with home buyer counseling, with mortgage payment protection insurance, you have a very resilient book of servicing, and you have really sustainable home ownership.
Right. We're talking about affordable and sustainable. I mean, are we talking... Now, just to define it, I mean, there's restrictions that are associated with having strictly vacation homes. I mean, 7 months out of the year, it could be 24/7.
Correct. Currently, it's April 1st through the end of October. We have folks that move in, 24/7, and a lot of those folks are snowbirds. And our demographic breakdown is probably 20% snowbird, 40% empty nesters, and 40% full young families. So November through March, families can be there currently 4 nights in any 30 days. So it equates to a couple weekends, or you're coming down for Thanksgiving, or you're grouping time together and you're there 8 nights over the holidays.
And growing up on the Cape has changed quite a bit. But a lot more industry has come into the Cape. The Hyannis, the Cape Cod, there's been a big expansion at the Cape Cod Hospital. Downtown is flourishing, and there's a lot going on down there. I think the town of Barnstable is really putting a lot of energy into that. And you've come in here. We're going to talk about some workforce housing that you've got planned for downtown Hyannis. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. The availability of workforce housing really is one of the greatest restrictors on economic development of the Cape. So many of the properties that were rental, the pressure is to move those into seasonal. It's a lot more lucrative. You pretty much anything that's within walking or biking or riding distance to a beach, and really where on the Cape are you not within easy access to a beach?
That's right.
The pressure is to turn those into seasonal rentals, where folks, families will rent by the week, and it takes that out of the market for year round. And people like Cape Cod Healthcare and technology companies that are spinning out of Woods Hole, one of the biggest restrictors on attracting and holding young Cape professionals is the availability of workforce housing and the availability of concentrated workforce housing, where you have a sense of neighborhood, a sense of community, urban style living like you do, in Boston's, in Providence's. And for many years, that didn't exist on the Cape, and one of our big projects is bringing that online in downtown Hyannis.
And where about are you?